How's it going? Welcome back to another great video with the majestic one, the wise one, yes, the savior. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. It takes 2 seconds for you guys, but it means absolutely everything to me. Today I'm just going to give you my quick review of Mortal Kombat 1. Yes, that's right, this is Mortal Kombat 1 because they've had to rebrand and basically reimagine Mortal Kombat all over again, and this series just absolutely loves to just reboot itself, I guess, because this is basically a fresh start for Mortal Kombat, not only with how the gameplay works. I mean, it's still pretty similar, but
shut up and take my money.
Honestly, the gameplay hasn't changed that much, but the thing that has really changed is the story, if you do care about that type of thing, because they've basically kind of done a fresh start. So the characters and the character interactions are actually very different this time around, especially for the die-hard Mortal Kombat fan base. I think this is going to be a nice fresh spin, but I do feel like this is going to push some original fans away from the game because of just how much they've changed, but that's personal preference, I think. But what I'm super excited about with Mortal Kombat 1 is the fact that they've basically added so many different characters that you can play as, a massive roster of characters. I do feel that Mortal Kombat 1 is going much more old school and staying true to its formula compared to something like Street Fighter, which basically tried to update itself and tried to innovate. And honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing, especially when we've had these types of games for a very long time. I understand that a lot of people want to keep them, you know, how they were originally and kind of just not change the gameplay that much because, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I understand that kind of motif, but especially when we've got the same game for literally decades now, I think it's not a bad thing to just update it and add new gameplay features to it. But sadly, this is still very much just a Mortal Kombat game. If you've played a previous Mortal Kombat game, then you know exactly what this is. And I just think, especially in today's times where games are more expensive than ever, you know, we are literally living in the time of $70 for a AAA experience, whatever a AAA actually means. If it means it's broken on release and filled full of lies, then I guess that means it's AAA. But no, you know, this is always a polished experience. Mortal Kombat has never been janky, but still asking that much for basically the same game you've already played countless times. If you already have a Mortal Kombat game, I don't really think it's worthwhile to upgrade straight away unless if you're a massive fan, because like I said, they haven't added that much here to make it seem like this is a completely transformative experience.
Shut up and take my money.
But what makes me excited, and the reason I'm giving you this quick Mortal Kombat 1 review, is because it has my all-time favorite character in it, basically Homelander from The Boys. Now, that's basically a TV show making fun of Marvel and basically a dark twist on the superhero franchise. And the thing that they are doing with Mortal Kombat 1 is they're adding some really cool characters that aren't exactly from the Mortal Kombat universe. In the Combat Pack, you get Homelander, you also get DC Peacemaker. So if you've always wanted to, you know, see some of your favorite characters battle it out, then this is the best game for that, because not only do you get to play with some pretty cool characters, and they've added, you know, some of the older characters from the older games and some of the characters from the 3D, you know, Mortal Kombat games back into this modern one, then you're gonna have a good time, because there's just a lot of goofiness in this and it's always a good time.
You fucking...
I do hope you enjoy this Mortal Kombat 1 game review, and if you do, like I said, please do consider subscribing. Just go and hit that button. It does just take 2 seconds, and I work so hard on my videos. You have no idea. I work so hard every single day on my videos. So if you do subscribe, I won't disappoint you. If you'd like gaming content, game reviews, retrospective or philosophical video essays, stuff like that, you've come to the right place. Join the Savior community and join this growing empire. So now I'm just going to give you some positives and negatives. That's what I always like to do with my early reviews, and bear in mind that this is based on the preview version of the game, not the full release, only the stuff that is basically out there and my hands-on experience with the preview build, just so you are completely aware and I'm 100% transparent. So the big plus to this game, I would say, is the combat feels smoother than ever, and it does feel like it's returning to form, where some of the other games, sometimes it felt like you could just play with a complete noob and they could still beat you because it's kind of like a button mashing type experience some of the time. But this one does a better job of laying the groundwork of, you know, having that skill ceiling and basically you really having to learn the moves and all that kind of stuff, and it just feels far more responsive, where before I always felt the controls in the previous game of this series was just a little bit floaty and it wasn't exactly responsive. This feels a lot better. Now, another positive of Mortal Kombat 1 being a fresh spin on the series, and basically imagine this as like a mirror universe where it's all of your favorite characters, but they're basically different and they've done like a fresh take on them and they're almost different personalities, if you will, which I do feel is pretty interesting, and it is nice to have that kind of fresh spin on it. But the best thing about this, I would say, is the fact that they've truly updated the animations here. They just look so much better. They've also added new gameplay mechanics to some degree. It's kind of a bit of a stretch to call it a gameplay mechanic, but I guess you have to add something, as this is a new title, so I'm glad they did do something. But basically, you know, you can now have a quick dash. There are more combos mid-air, which is super nice, and now you of course get cameo fighters. So basically, you're not just fighting one-on-one, you can call in your buddy to basically do a little bit of tag teaming, which is pretty cool. And they've done some, you know, other stuff where you can taunt your enemies now. It just makes it feel a little bit more fleshed out, but like I said, I don't feel like they truly innovated like Street Fighter did, and I just feel like for this price tag, just having a new story, you know, with basically reusing the characters but just making them different. For example, the relationship between Sub-Zero and Scorpion is very different now. They're almost like, you know, loving brothers, which is quite interesting to say the least, and I just don't think it's going to appeal to everyone. I just wish they did something a little bit more different like Street Fighter did. I'm not asking for like a hub mini open world game or something like that, but just something where, you know, they've changed up the gameplay a little bit. So let me just wrap up by saying, if you are a massive fan of Mortal Kombat and you want to see these characters return but be basically different, like an alternative universe of Mortal Kombat, then you will enjoy this game. Also, the animations and the finishers are absolutely brutal. The animations and the finishers here are so brutal and disturbing that it was reported that some of the developers actually had to go to a mental asylum, or they basically needed, you know, a breather because of just how disturbing and truly graphic it is. And it's just quite funny because as games get more photorealistic, I wonder where people will draw the line and basically get too sickened by the violence, but honestly, that's not really an issue. Mortal Kombat has always been violent, and yeah, that's not a bad thing, if you ask me. People complaining about video game violence is just another stupid hot take, and it doesn't really make any sense. So that is my Mortal Kombat 1 review, my review of Mortal Kombat 1. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I'm just going to end it with my personal opinions around this game. So personally, I do like fighting games, you know, especially when you're doing couch co-op or something like that. It's fun. I personally don't get invested in them by myself because I just feel like the gameplay is a little bit shallow, but I do still enjoy them, and I don't hate the genre by any means. I do like it, but I do think that they do need to start innovating in this genre a little bit, because you can just go back and play the classics, and if you enjoy the classics so much, just go and play the classics, because just basically playing the same game with shinier graphics, to me, is not really enough to warrant spending, you know, $70, but to each their own. I just think they could do something a little bit different here. I mean, I had a great time with some of these janky, kind of arcadey bash 'em ups, you know. The one that I used to play all the time with my brother was this game called Deadliest Warrior, which is based on a really bad TV show, but it's hilarious. It's just like historic battle arenas. Basically, what if the Romans fought, I don't know, the Soviet Union or something like that, something ridiculous like that. But it was a good time because they had so many different game modes. One where you could basically be a zombie and you had to chop up the other person until literally you're just a leg jumping around on the map and that's all that's left. You know, they just need to do more with this series, I think. They need to add more game modes. Maybe an arena mode in Mortal Kombat would make this feel a little bit more fleshed out, where you're fighting more than just one enemy. They would obviously have to, you know, change how combat worked, but honestly that wouldn't be a bad thing. But that's my opinion on Mortal Kombat and these kind of bash 'em up games. I do enjoy them, but I do feel like they are stuck in the past, and if it's already better in the past, then why not just play the older games? But that is my review of Mortal Kombat 1. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like I said, do subscribe if you are new. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Consider checking out my music on Spotify. My new album Nova has just been released and it's really good. If you do like music from Cyberpunk 2077, give it a chance. It's out now on Spotify and you just have to click the link below in the comments or become a member to get extra content and support the show. Either way, I appreciate you if you are a wise boy, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Peace out.